So the first proposed issue by this company is whether the electoral commission conducts a by-election for member of parliament from however division was as policy. In accordance with the law, and whether the non-compliance affected the result of the election in a substantial manner. So that capture what this side that capture what I can get back to this first time to back and propose.
That's why I know that for the first respondent, we have some more athletes, right? Yes, we have 6 more athletes, right? My Lord, Father, we use some information which is in possession of the second respondent. Which we seek rely on this petition. We requested for certified copies of declaration forms and the parking list, which we formally requested for the 24th of April and paid for
the second respondent.
We also requested for certified copies of the voter application, which was used in the election. Until yesterday, we were informed that the secretary is yet to sign off. And in the premises we will request for some more time for purpose of filing those additional affidavits. In which case we'll be able to proceed with the
My Lord, the name again, Sunny F. Also, this model fire additional 400 for 600. And since the process is not far from what I take 5 meters just by information. Noticed by the first respondent to the commission was certified due to it. I cannot say and I think have it expedited. In any case, matter and remand this time. And being reminded by Nambi that the public project, I've also calculated that in mind. That by Monday the vision is complete and the bus is ready.
I hear the point on the opponent side. But in my view, my lord, that should not stop us from shaping the matter. Why? Because my colleague started by saying that the issues are statutory. So, my lord, the pleadings are in. Majority of the affidavits are in. So we can shape it and finish. If my colleagues want time to file more affidavits, that's fine. That will then determine, my lord, if we need to make any rejoinders, those affidavits, but we can continue. Finish the shaping. When we come back and all affidavits are in, we just proceed to the trial.
Okay, Mr. Karulia, let's not waste time on this. I saw Mr. certified another
Yes. Yes.
So let's give them time to fight. Yeah, that's the have. So maybe we can set the limit. Mr. Eric Savit suggested Monday. So can also have those of the first respondent by Monday.
We hold Monday because we are getting the document. So we need like 2 more days. Yeah.
가리게 전화드렸어.
So the first respondent filed in additional affidavits by Thursday, 8th of May. For the second respondent, filed the same as undertaken by Monday. By Monday, the 5th of pay.
My Lord, if we need to make any reminders, we can do so in the next 3 days. By Saturday.
For as long as we are out
My Lord, I was saying that when my colleagues file the respondents by 8, I will request for 2 more days to see if there are any remainders to make. They are not.
But earlier on said we are done with the fight.
My Lord, I was saying that I'm done with affidavits in support of the petition, but when they respond, I may need to review some aspects.
Otherwise, the empress.
But my Lord, they may raise.
Put a limit. You say you have finished fighting, so let them fight and
My Lord, I will request that if they raise new matters in their affidavits, whether that they are filing in reply to mine, then I rejoin, my Lord, in just 2 days. By Saturday, I will be done. That's if there is need. If there is no need, I will not rejoin. My Lord, also some other issue.
let's pass it.
Much obliged. Much obliged.
court had classified all the affidavits for the petitioner and that was ready proceeding in the shaping of the petition. In this respect, the court deems it that the petitioner has provided all the affidavit evidence he needs to support the petition. There will be no more affidavits provided by the petitioner.
Yes, the other issue I wanted to raise, my Lord, we've noted from the affidavits filed by the first respondent already that they have approached two of our witnesses and filed depositions purportedly retracting the evidence already made in support of the petition. My Lord, we would like to raise, I don't know now or at a time opportune that the court may give us a preliminary objection. Those affidavits disqualified. Lord, if you permit me, I can make the objection now or at any other time that you may allow me. If not now, my Lord, my request is that my colleagues, the first respondent, stop approaching our witnesses and getting affidavits from them when they have already given us affidavits. Maybe, my Lord, I can make the objection now. I'm obliged.
I don't know that because I think but my Lord, the precedents are very clear. In the electoral petition these days, it is the fact, I don't know why, witnesses give evidence and the time, and it is the courts determine who is telling when and what. I think the English are provided for it. This is not the first time. Yes. That has been the practice. I don't know the approach you will have maybe to prove, but giving a witness giving two affidavits, courts have also made pronouncements. So to say that he wants to make a interpretation is there to start the proceeding. In fact, let's have the summary. That witness will have to take a stand and will determine which side falls, but only any side, because justice has no side.
Your Lordship, maybe we are reading from different decisions, but authorities of this court and the court will do that we have uphold that practice. And the court of appeal has several, more than 10 times, punished both the deponents and the advocates for doing that. I don't know which scripts you're reading from, the decisions we have. So my Lord, if you allow me, and my colleagues are ready to argue, then people will argue now. We see their decisions, we see ours. Oblige, my Lord.
decision is this bill is granted to the commissioner to raise the legal objection on granting this decision. So they will proceed.
I'm obliged. My Lord, by leave, we have a good way of law. Again, there's 3 affidavits filed by first respondent. These are the affidavits of Chamber Nathan Mwanguzi, the affidavit of Maumbe George William,
The names again?
Chamber Nathan Mwanguzi. The second affidavit, my Lord, is that of Maumbe George William. And the third is that of Ben Mukasa Mutai. My Lord, Chamber Nathan and Maumbe George, on the 9th of April 2025, saw affidavits in support of the petition. So affidavits in support of the petition, which we filed in court. Chamber Nathan and Maumbe George William saw affidavits in support of the petition, which we filed in court and served upon the They were then subsequently, my Lord, approached by the first respondents council and Ben Mukasa. And so affidavits in support of the first respondent's answer. And so affidavits in support of the first respondent's answer. I'm saying, my Lord, that that conduct of approaching our witnesses, and making them recant our evidence is unlawful. It is detestable, my Lord. It is contrary to Rule 19 of the Advocates' Professional Conduct Regulations. My Lord, it means that those affidavits were obtained illegally, and this court and the Court of Appeal have frowned upon that kind of conduct. Why? Because it rebels against the tenets therein. My Lord, the courts have held that if the first respondent found any issue with our affidavits, the course of action would be to wait for those witnesses in court and challenge their testimony by way. My Lord, the first case I have is Chintu Alex Brendo versus the Commission and William Moses. Court of Appeal. Chintu Alex Brendo versus Isi and William Moses.
You have copies for me?
I have it. I have it on my Lord, but after reading it, I'll give it to you. Versus Electoral Commission and William Moses. I'll just read the holding, part of the holding of the Court of Appeal. It was held there, my Lord, that we wish to point out that the actions of the second respondent and his legal team in approaching the witnesses of the petition and obtaining affidavits from them was contrary to Rule 19, which not only renders counsel involved to disciplinary proceedings for professional misconduct, but ought to be sufficient ground for rejecting and striking out those affidavits for violating the tenets of a fair trial. Our rules would have required that the challenge to such evidence would only be by way of cross-examination to test the veracity of the evidence. An adverse side, my lord, is prohibited from approaching witnesses for the other party with a view to induce them to testify against that other party. The second authority, my lord, I have Lawrence Onama Obo, versus Joseph Kasoro Okero and EC, Court of Appeal. Lawrence Onama Obo versus Joseph Kasoro Okero and EC. My lord, there, the Court of Appeal held that, therefore, if counsel for the first respondent believed that the deponent had indeed been coerced in deponing an affidavit against him, the course of action that was available was to subject that witness to cross-examination, to establish the veracity of his claim, including whether he understood the contents of the affidavit. The third authority I have, my lord, case of Atan Moses Okia versus Ariko Herbert and others. Atan Moses Okia versus Ariko Herbert and others. Court of Appeal. I will hear the Court of Appeal tell us. In our view, it is imperative that actions taken in total disregard of the law must be sanctioned. It is therefore important that those affidavits that were made in complete disregard of the law ought to be struck out. The land trial judge ought to have struck out the second set of 12 affidavits sworn by persons who had already sworn affidavits in support of the petition. These persons were approached by the respondents' counsel and made to swear affidavits recanting their earlier sworn affidavits in favor of the petition. The respondent was barred by law from approaching or talking to these witnesses other than by way of cross-examination in courts of law. Fourth authority I have on this point, my lord, is the case of Lumbuyea Hussein Hanifa, versus Kusasira Peace Kemu and East. Lumbuyea Hussein Hanifa versus Kusasira Peace Kemu and EC. Court of Appeal, my lord. There the lordship said, after quoting Rule 19 that I referred to earlier, that counsel for the first respondent should have followed the right procedure and challenged the adverse evidence through cross-examination. The trial judge ought to have considered the evidence of intimidation and strike out the evidence obtained illegally. Questionable affidavits, my lord, cannot be said to have recanted the witnesses' earlier evidence properly deponed and affirmed as truthful by the same witnesses in the affidavits. We disagree with the trial judge to that extent and accordingly strike out those affidavits, attempting to recant the earlier evidence. Last point I have on this issue, my lord, is Mbaju Jackson. Mbaju Jackson versus Tembo Gideon Mujungu. Mbaju Jackson versus Tembo Gideon Mujungu and EC. The lordships in the Court of Appeal, my lord, say, firstly, it is wrong and unprofessional for an opposite party to approach the witnesses of the other party, seeking to turn that person into the witnesses for the other side. Once that party is aware that such person is a witness for the other party, the only option available for him is to meet them in court and subject such witnesses to cross-examination. any other cause undermines the concept of a fair trial where one party's witnesses are not safe from the machinations of the opposite party. Affidavits obtained this way should be struck out for infringing the right to a fair trial. Now, my Lord, with those decisions, I think it is crystal clear from that jurisprudence that the affidavits purporting to recant our earlier affidavits in support of the petition should be struck out without question. Now, for Ben Mukasantale, my Lord, the two purporting recanting affidavits state that he is the one who called them and took them to the Respondents' Council, the first Respondents' Council. That's what they say in the affidavits, those which are quoted in the country. They say, we were called by Ben, and taken to Mengo. Lord, it may please you to note from those affidavits that the first Respondents' law firm is the one that drafted them, of course among others. To note from the translation, it was from the first Respondents' law firm himself.
Just to be clear, Ben Mukasantale,
Yes.
you also swear a second recanting it.
No, he did not. The point I make, my Lord, is
What's the complaint?
he procured the illegality. He participated in procuring this illegality I have just referred to. And my Lord, his punishment should be the same, that his affidavit should go. Lastly, my Lord, for my colleagues who drew these affidavits and who ought to know the law, my Lord, the punishment from the authorities I have given you, my Lord, is twofold. What the courts have done is either punish them there and then, according to the discretion of the court under section 24, where it gets up. Alternatively, what the courts have done in those authorities is to refer the colleagues to law counsel. The Lord asks whether you can punish my colleagues here and now for that conduct. I refer to the decision of Shell Uganda Limited versus Mwema and Ngewa Advocates, Supreme Court. Decision of Shell Uganda Limited versus Mwema and Ngewa Advocates, Supreme Court. There, their lordship said that you have the power, my lord, to punish my colleagues here and now for that. In view of those brief arguments and the authorities I've relied on, I pray first that the affidavits of Chamber Nathan Mwanguzi, Maumbe Jojo William, and Ben Mukasa be struck off the record of court. 2, I wrote order my colleagues for the first respondent, for respondents generally, from approaching my witnesses, debar them from approaching my witnesses, and according to recant the evidence, the issue of their punishment is within your discretion, and I leave it to you. I the prayer is after this work of as well. Having procured the event, I refer to my Lord. I'm obliged.
Just to understand you, what is your prayer? You are saying they should strike out the
second set of evidence. No, my lord. The approach is to strike out the second set. That's what the approach is.
The first set of evidence
remains for the
petitioner will remain.
And the second set.
That's your prayer.
Yes, the second set is struck out. And that's what the courts have done in all of those operations. They strike out the second set and leave the other one. And then in Baju, along the court of appeal saying that if that set remains, then the court subjects them to a repeated test during cross-examination. But the second set of affidavits goes.
last thing that what about it's the last submission.
Because the first bit leads to the punishment, and we had not prepared. So my Lord, to punish all these lawyers. So my Lord excluded the punishment with request for time, because we have authority laws, which including the presidential position, where we have had.
Only that instead focus so much on the punishment, focus on the thrust of these submissions was about striking out the second set of levels.
Yeah, my Lord,
So don't get lost in the punishment thing and forget the thrust of it.
my Lord, the issue is approaching. He has already calculated that. He has said they were approached by the party who committed the crime. But at the same time, he was saying, council for the first time in practice is beginning to collect witnesses. Now, if council is to approach or has been approaching witnesses, that changes the whole practice. As far as I know, council does not approach witnesses are brought to, and he has also said they were brought by Italy, and that is why they want to punish Italy.
Okay, so
But at the same time, he wants us
okay, so the prayer is for time.
For time,
Time
yes.
to prepare your reply.
Yeah, if you can do it written, or we can come back.
I think you come back and come back tomorrow.
More is
Thursday, Friday. Friday will be second.
Yes.
Tomorrow is what?
Every morning. But Friday we only have.
My Lord, I am passing 10 lawyers. All of them cannot have committed.
But they all have the same.
Let's dispose of that matter on Friday, my Lord. So next week, let's come back and handle it on Friday. I was saying that we can come back on Friday and finish that one. They have 9 options of 10 options based on what will be as maybe I am so many.
There's only 1 day between now and which is Friday. So it's not, and yes, it's possible, many lawyers. However,
We only
there are
have
also repercussions on each of them individually prepared. So we're going to request for management to be accommodated.
My matters are not implicated. I also pray that money will be more available.
In another petition, this one. So there must be something
Before we adjourn, is there any other matter that we need to take note of?
Yes, my Lord.
before we adjourn for them to make a reply.
Yeah. I think from the way we have all filed our affidavits and my lord has given directions, I think the issue of whether we proceed by way of affidavits is now settled. Because my lord, the last time round of elections, what we are saying, we can consider you have witness someone and all kinds of things. But I think because we have all now filed affidavits, I think we assume that we have agreed to proceed with this petition by way of the next time.
We shall deal with that one.
I wrote a motion. Did he say that when we file that is
No,
or there is provision for cross-examination?
What I'm saying, my lord, from the jurisprudence in the 2021 round of election petitions, their lordships in the court of appeal say that a petition may proceed either by way of affidavits and therefore cross-examination, or normally as a civil case, where witnesses come and give evidence viva voce, proceed by way of witness statements in accordance with amendments to CPR rules. So I'm saying that because now we have all filed affidavits, there should be no issue in future in the course of the trial about whether affidavits should be used.
So the first respondent, please reply please Monday at 9 a.m. Answer the queue. So the matter is according to adjourned to Monday, 5th of May, 9 a.m.
Much of that.
Sei importa, importa zina kamera ya womu Chazagara
bagenda kwogera wabwe tugende tubalindira
Nenda papo ile.
Nani uniform ile budi tu kan? Ya nani uniform? Nani uniform? Kuline ko bali areni kizi.
Bagambye nti baagala bamasanyira maaso bayinza okuba tebaagala
tebasobola kutayagala ekisoboka esitoli batuse ekitoola
situngole Julius nomira nsana Somebody mpaka kantu wakampada
Bari mai kanso otandise nga BBC tenatuuka.
sobola nayo tandika nga BBC tenatuuka
Fembereko keri emabega. Sembere keri emabega.
tugenda wano wansi
Ujja wano kanso wansawo. Atuwe mu seconds asatu tutandike. Well, the trial. Second council Kanso soko de makati kanso na utola ne. Iya kijok.
aunga wote
Dende. Mike wants to simple. Yes, the trial process, election petition filed by the NRM through their candidate Nambi has commenced today with all preliminaries, readings and responses are in. But the respondent, Hon.Nalukoola, will not proceed today to the matter since it has not yet been supplied the necessary material to the Electoral Commission to support his answer. Actually, we need a register, another election material. So that's why we could not proceed today.
to the hearing. Secondly, you know, this is a matter which has a lot of illegalities. You find a matter where substantially the perpetrator of violence wants to depend on the same violence to impeach an election in the perpetrator's favor. The perpetrator of destroying election materials, ballots and the like, wants to use the same to defeat the voice of the people. So it will be an interesting matter. Luckily enough, the coerced witnesses to provide evidence to the petitioner have since jumped ship by coming to give us evidence, retracting their first evidence. That is an issue now for trial. And on Monday we are coming to determine how we treat such evidence of people who claim they were forced to provide evidence in support of the petition. So that is going to be a new twist in this matter on how such evidence is treated. That is why this matter has been adjourned to Monday for this court to determine on how to deal with evidence of people who are saying we were coerced to provide evidence by the petitioner, and they came to us saying we want to retract our evidence. That will be the only interesting bit on Monday. After that, we shall proceed with trial. The respondents given a chance to look at the election materials that we requested for will also be ready. Because we don't see it as a serious matter, and we pray this court will really find reasons to dismiss the petition.
So is Monday for ruling or making the submission?
Monday we are arguing out the matter. The petitioners have made a case of their petitioners having their witnesses having recanted the evidence. We do not believe witnesses come to us to say we're forced to give evidence and we push them away. At the end of the day, a trial election petition is an investigation. Election petitions, the trial is an investigation, and we believe it's proper that this court investigates the matter on whether these people are actually coerced or not. And that rests the case. You cannot deny any person from recanting. I think it's their right, especially when they give a background. We are coming for a response on Monday on that issue, and court will determine on that on the way to proceed with such evidence. In any case, it is the evidence of the petitioner that will be affected, and because the petition is proved by the petitioner, not the respondent.
Tubadde mu kooti abirangerwawo tubadde mu kooti olwaleero nga tubadde tuzze okukkaanya ku ngeri omusango gugenda okutambulamu, okukkaanya ku bujulizi n'engeri omulambuzi gyagenda okukwata mu musango. Tusabye kooti abawawabi baffe ebyomusango gw'amantiolo, tusabye twetaaga okuteekayo obujulizi bw'abantu abalala 6, ate nga tulina n'obujulizi bwe twasaba mu kakiiko k'ebyokulonda bwe tunafuna okuli ne declaration of result forms eza polling station ezo omukyala Nambi zagambibwa okuba nti yawangula 12. Twagala ne regisita y'akakiiko konna n'ebirala ebyakozesa mu kulonda twabisabye era twabisasulidde era tubiyita ate nga twagala byesigamamu n'akakiiko ebyokulonda nako kasabye kalina abajulizi abalala 6 betagala okuleeta. So kooti netugamba nti netuwa weekend la namba okulaba nga tuteekamu obujulizi obwo obutambiraire wabula abawaabi ne baddamu ne batekayo okusaba nga bwomanyi nti omusango guno babagamba nti gwamanjolo kati olwokuba abajulizi abamu be baakozesa ate bama ne bagamba abamu beegaana n'okwegaana obujulizi bwabwe byafe okukolangako kimanyiiza nnyo bagamba nti ate lwaki abajulizi baffe mwabatuukirira, ate lwaki baawa obujulizi nga bwegaana obwaffe. So oteekayo okusaba nga tugamba nti waliwo emisango gya kooti ekigamba nti obujulizi kikkirizibwa. So kooti neetuwa olunaku lwa bbalaza okukomawo wano twogere kutanya ku nsonga eyo oba obujulizi obwo obw'abantu abagamba nti baakakibwa oba byali bya bulimba biri bye baateekayo nga beegaana bye baakola mukyala Nambi yateekayo oba bukkirizibwa oba nedda. So ekyo ekigenda okubeerawo ku Mande ssaawa 3, naye ate batukyalina obudde namba okuteekayo obujulizi obulala fembi abawwali so tujja kukomawo wano ate babe polisi esalawo okutulungamya paka omusango guno gunaagobebwa ate batusasule ekyo tugenda kyanukula kubanga tugenda kyanukula kuno kwa balaza ndozi olwokugenda ku zino bawulira nti gino kooti maso esiba balooya kakati baagala ndoza ne kooti enenkulu neyekozesebwe okusiba balooya ne tujja kutandika
ansa y'ekyo musango gw'ebyokulonda teguba gwaffe ensobi gyalowooza nti abo abajulizi babe musango gw'ebyokulonda mu mateeka ebeera investigation kuba kunoonyereza buli bujulizi bwonna okusobola okujja mu maaso ga kooti bwetyo kyekimu kugwemuko obujulizi omuntu bw'aba agamba nti bankozesa ekirayiro nga bankase olw'okuba kuno kunoonyereza kooti nabo erina okutunuulira esalewo nti ono ddala Nambi yamukaka mu obujulizi oba nedda kati ekyokuliida talina waayingiriramu naye nakyo tubiridde okwewozaako okusalawo okulaba nti nno tukakasa kooti nti erina okuwuliriza ensonda zonna oli agezaako kunyigiriza bujulizi bwaffe obuddamu obujulizi bwe naye omukisa oguluma election petitions okuvunaanyizibwa bubwe okuwa obujulizi obulaga nti akalulu kakola ki ekataba
babadde basabuliti nga bagambye nti ensonga enkulu mwandirinze bano abadde bajja okukosa examination naye mmwe kiraga nti mwabatuukirira
mu mateeka nonono bagambye
babadde basayidibwa
looya abadde clear omu ku bajulizi be yagamba bajulizi banne tugende tukole ki era yabaleeta si balooya kibadde very clear n'ekirala omujulizi ayinza obutajja mu kooti cross examination ebeera ku mujulizi azze mu kooti obuvunanyizibwa buyita omujulizi wa kooti si bwaffe bwa kooti oyinza n'okusaba okuleeta omujulizi eyo kooti nekola ki negaana n'ekirala mwe mulisitinga nti bano tubaagala babuuza tuleetaaga oyinza okwesanga omuntu atajja mu kooti oyo omuntu bwatajja mu kooti kitegeeza obujulizi bwe bwonna buddibwa ki mu kooti batufunye mukisa mu cross examination
Sabe?